Hey YouTube, Dawson Ryder here. Welcome to my review for BoonBoomger episode 37. So this week's episode picks up with one of those classic scenes where you show a dramatic moment and then you flash back to like, how did we get here? And the dramatic moment is Taya fighting against Chassiro. And we saw that in the preview, and so I was like, oh, I wonder what that's going to be about. And thankfully, it wasn't them actually fighting, it was his double, because the Monster of the Week this week can create copies, and early on in the episode, Chassiro gets taken by one of his former colleagues who's working with the enemy, and he's copied and tries to infiltrate, but Taya's onto him right away. He's like, I know that it's not you because there's no soul in your eyes. Your soul's trapped in the cage with Michael and Lucifer. Hello, Season 6 Sam. I was happy about that, just because... you know, we've had a lot of, I felt like, back-to-back, like, melodramatic stories about betrayal and, you know, Orange being away from the team, and then Boom Boom's thing. I feel like that would just be too repetitive, and we're so close to the end now, I feel like we don't need that melodrama. And I feel like we already had that storyline, too, when we talked about Chashiro's backstory and all that. And I'm glad it didn't end up like that. I'm glad we didn't go for more of that melodrama. Now that I said that, I probably jinxed it, and we'll have another needless betrayal arc in these last 10 episodes or so, but I'm happy with the way that shook out. And I also really like the way there's kind of all this like spy feeling espionage stuff with all these other groups going on, like with Chassiro warning Taya, like, oh, you know, the ISA's in bed with these other people, like your friend, and he goes to visit him. And then, of course, you have Shiro's friend who was hired. And I like that there's this human element of these other characters and groups that are interacting with the, almost said the Granite conflict, with the Hash Aliens conflict. I'm curious if ISA's like intentions are nefarious, or if they're just going about defending Earth in a really cutthroat way. Or if they're not necessarily trying to conquer anything, but take advantage of it for their own gain, and how his friend plays into that. I'm really curious about that. But I like that element. It adds a bit of an interesting, like kind of realistic element of all these organizations getting involved. And I'll be curious how if the Inspector Lady's loyalties are going to be put to the test, like as we get to the end of the series, if there's going to be any sort of question. I mean, there's not. You know that if there is, she'll choose the BoonBoomgers. But I'm going to like wonder if that's even going to be a storyline in there. In this episode, too, we also got some really fun civilian fights, like a really cool civilian fight between Taya and fake Chassiro, where they were using the weapons in civilian form, and that epic BoonBoomger music played, and you have the sick scene where he's dual-wielding them, and then also a fight scene between real Chassiro and his friend. And was she using a real gun? That's going to set the Sentai edgelords on fire. Like, it's more mature than Power Rangers, they had a real gun, and they stood next to beer! So, yeah, that was really cool. I really liked seeing that. I like a good civilian fight when it makes sense. I still stand by that it's stupid to, like, go up against a monster or putties or whatever, unmorphed if there's no reason. But when there's an actual good reason for a civilian fight, it was just fun. Kind of a cool way of seeing, like, the BoonBoomger fun choreography in a different way, because we did get a cool fight scene at the end, but it was nice to see, like, a bit of a different take on it where you have, like, civilian fights. And I liked, like I said, that this episode wasn't about some sort of random betrayal. It was more about just reinforcing the bond between Taya and Chassiro. So yeah, overall, I think it was a solid episode that kept the intrigue going. In a lot of ways, it felt like the conflict with Taya and fake Chassiro and all that was kind of needless. Like, that didn't feel like it moved a lot forward, but it felt much less like a filler episode, and it felt a lot more like we did keep things moving with the overall plot. Anyways, guys, let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, steps, ring that bell to get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.